My father-in-law was a big maven. He had a deep understanding of people. He had a deep understanding of Torah. He had many shiurim. He had a deep understanding of hashkafa. And even in any practical, any discussion, he always was able to tap into the essence of any discussion, any issue at hand.
Rabbi Sharfman was an Ish Elokim. He had his head in Shamayim. He was a tremendous Talmid Chacham, a tremendous person, cared about Ruchnius, and at the same time, he was an Ish who was down to the level of each Talmud, cared about the smallest details of every physical need of every Talmud.
Rabbi Sharfman was somebody that valued anything a person ever did for him or with him. He was tremendously makatov. He just had a means of lifting you up and valuing what you do. And that value empowered you.
The hashkavas that Rebbe taught us are things that we take with us for the rest of our lives. Not a day goes by when we don't think about the principles and the values that Rebbe instilled in us. Rebbe was very into yashrus, and Rebbe was very into living life like a mensch, acting with midos. People just wanted to do what Rebbe did because they admired him so much and they just wanted to act like him.
He was much more than just a mashgiach ruchni, much more than just first-year Rebbe. It was this guiding light and this confidant that you could just lean on.
From the beginning, you saw he was a person who cared. From literally the moment we stepped off the airplane, Rabbi Sharfman was outside in the airport, picking up Talmidim he never saw before, barely knew their names, just to make sure that their first day in yeshiva is uneventful.
Rabbi Sharfman was the Rebbe's Rebbe, for what it means to have a connection with your Talmidim.
So on a regular basis when we were learning, other people would come over and ask him questions on halacha, and just the guys who were in his shiur would come over and ask him questions. His shiur was always willing to give, to stop what he's doing and give them his time, and he always knew the answer.
Traditionally, there are times throughout the year that at the Kola we would look for opportunities to give chizuk to the community. And year after year, the person who we would call upon to give that chizuk would be Rabbi Sharfman. He said the emes, he said the truth, he said it in a way that was passionate, and he said what had to be said. He didn't hold anything back, but it was said with such love and charisma that everyone was makabel.
Literally every time I saw him, it would lift my spirits. He was that kind of a person. He was such a diamond, such a jewel. 1 in a million, 1 in a billion. They didn't make anything else. They don't make anybody else like him.
When Rabbi Sharfman started the shiur, it was a 6-week shiur because they didn't know how it was going to go teaching such an eclectic group, and they tried it for 6 weeks. Well, it lasted 10 years.
The shiur that Rabbi Sharfman gave, I believe, lifted the bar of Torah in the whole community. It's definitely a tremendous schos and privilege for me to continue Rabbi Sharfman's legacy by giving the Sunday morning halacha shiur.
He knew how to make Torah alive and real. And that's another thing why his Talmidim loved him. In addition to caring about them, and in addition to being interested in them and understanding them, he made Yiddishkeit real. He made Torah real. He made it alive for them.
Rabbi Sharfman was able to connect with everyone, whether they were yeshiva students or older people or younger people, whether they were learned or not. He connected with everybody, and everybody was able to learn from him, and not just learn, but they were able to enjoy learning because of him.
We stayed in touch constantly. There was nothing that was too big or too small that didn't warrant a call to Rabbi Sharfman. He was always available, always excited to speak to you, years after I left yeshiva.
To a large extent, the success of the yeshiva over the years can definitely be traced back to Rabbi Sharfman, the love that he had to the Talmidim and the mutual love that the Talmidim had to him was a major cause of the success of the yeshiva.